बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्रीमद् सतगुरु सरकार की जय। Coming here brings a flood of memories into my mind of my childhood. I was born in the south part of India and I spent time in Mysore and Bangalore. And thereafter, after spending my early childhood over there, so all this environment seems so familiar back to my childhood. But after that, for more than 10 years, I traveled the south all over, Bangalore, Madras, Salem, spent a lot of time in Trichinapalli, Srirangam, Coimbatore, etc. So I traveled far and wide in the south, spreading, sharing the unique divine teachings of the supreme spiritual authority, Guru of the whole world. All of you being in the south are familiar obviously with Adi Jagat Guru Shankaracharya Ji, first original Jagat Guru. In fact, our original Jagat Gurus have all hailed from the south of India, something to be proud about. Adi Jagat Guru Ramanujacharya Ji, Adi Jagat Guru Nimbarkacharya Ji is also from there, Jagat Guru Madhavacharya Ji. But our fifth original Jagat Guru is from North India. Somebody has to be from the north. So we have only, in 5,000 years, we've had only 5 original Jagat Gurus. You hear of many Jagat Gurus today, but all of them are on hereditary succession seats. So only 5 original Jagat Guru. And I'm sharing with you the wonderful, unique, practical teachings of Jagat Guru Tam Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. So, before any more introduction to myself and my Supreme Spiritual Master, let us begin this special, very important talk on the Bhagavad Gita. I request you all to close your eyes for a couple of minutes and focus on the divine vibrations of the Sanskrit mantras which energize us and also purify the mind. Mannath Shri Jagannath Madguru Shri Jagat Guru Madatma Sarvabhutatma Kripalu Gurave Namah. Varahapidam Natavaravapu Karnayo Karnikaram Vipradvasa Kanaka Kapisham Vai Jayanti Chamala Ranran Menor Radhara Sudhaya Purayan Gopa Vrindai Vrindaranyam Svabadaramanam Pravishat Gita Kirti Namah Kamalana Bhaya Namah Kamalamalini Namah Kamalapadaya Namaste Kamalecha Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedansya Pranoti Tasmai Bhagwan Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshirvai Sharanamam Prapadde. Dear Divine Souls, I request you to join me for a few minutes of Divine Name chanting before I begin this talk. इसको बंद कर दें। Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadguru 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 Jagadguru Krishnam Vande Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Krishnam Jagadguru. Palumande Jagadguru. Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Krishna Vande Kripalu Vande Jagadguru. Kripalu Vande Jagadguru. Oh, Kripalu Vande Jagadguru. Oh, Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Oh, Kripalu Vande Jagadguru. Oh, Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Radhe. Oh, Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Oh, Krishna Vande Jagadguru. Oh, Kripalu Vande Jagadguru. बोलिए जगद्गुरु श्री पूर्णतम पुरुषोत्तम श्री कृष्ण भगवान की श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय. Now please pay attention. I request you all to put your mobile phones on silent, not vibration, because the moment it vibrates, you're going to be distracted. Thank God when Sri Krishna delivered the lecture to Arjuna in the Kurukshetra, there were no mobile phones. Otherwise, this army, that army, there would have been so much of distraction. Anyway, so please switch them off because we have very little time. And something to discuss. I remember I had a series of lectures on the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita for 18 days. 18 chapters, 18 days. And that was in Hong Kong. People have very little time there. And right now, I have precisely just about 45 minutes. So I want your complete attention. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदना पार्थो वत्स सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धाम गीतामृतम महत्. The fourth verse of the Gita Mahatmya. How beautifully it has been illustrated to tell us what this Bhagavad Gita is about. The Upanishads have been compared to a cow, and the milker of this cow is our Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And you probably know that before the cow has the milk, but firstly the calf comes to drink the milk so that the cow is able to bring that milk out of the cow. So who is the calf? Arjun. Through Arjun, the divine nectar of the Bhagavad Gita has been available to the world. He is the calf. And the Bhagavad Gita is that divine nectar, the milk of that cow, which is drunk by those who are pure souls seeking this beautiful knowledge. The actual name of the Bhagavad Gita, I'm not sure whether everybody knows it. It's called Gitopanishad. Ye Geet hai, this is a song, actually speaking. So this is the full name of the Gita. Song of God, that's what it is. And this song brings perennial joy, peace, courage, hope to the tired humanity of today especially. This is the greatest philosophical dialogue known to man, in which the Supreme Lord speaks directly to all of us through Arjuna. This beautiful knowledge of Bhagavad Gita has been received even by people abroad. And I remember what a philosopher from England said. He said that the Bhagavad Gita is the most clear and comprehensive summaries of perennial philosophy ever to be made, ever to be revealed, hence its enduring value not only for Indians but for entire humanity. This is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. The wisdom, the timeless wisdom in our scriptures is universal. It is far above what you could say caste, creed and country. So this Bhagavad Gita, this song of God, let's move quickly. It begins with a soul named Arjun in a state of anxiety, stress, fear, complete breakdown. First chapter ends here. Shoka Samvigna Manasa. First chapter, 47th verse. And it ends, the Bhagavad Gita ends with Nashto Moha Smridir Labdva Tvat Prasadan Mayachyuta. 18th chapter, 73rd verse. So Arjuna is representing afflicted mankind, and it begins with this distressed state of mind, and at the end of the Bhagavad Gita he says, my infatuation, my distress, my doubts have all been dispelled, O Madhav. Now, the Bhagavad Gita is a very small book of scripture, right? Only 700 verses. And in today's world, there are many people who know it by heart. Not many, but a lot of people, they know it. And it is actually speaking a gist of the Upanishads. Now, what did Arjuna do? Because this is our state as well in this material world. So we need to know what were the instructions of Sri Krishna to Arjuna. What did he practically do that he reached this state of his infatuation being dispelled and he felt eternally free from suffering? We need to know that. The first thing we need to know is that Arjuna was not actually in that state of ignorance. He only pretended to be ignorant on our behalf. You know, probably know the story how he went to Dwarika, and Duryodhana also went seeking help of Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna offered them two choices: his entire army on one hand and just him alone on one hand, and he also specified the fact that I am not going to take part in the war. I will have no weapons whatsoever. Choose what you want. Arjun didn't need to think twice. He immediately said, I want you. And Duryodhana thought, how foolish he is, my cousin. He wants to take part in the war, and he's saying, I want you alone. If he had some common sense, he would have said, half the army to him, half to me. How can you be so unfair, Sri Krishna? No. So he thought he's so foolish, he thinks he's going to worship Sri Krishna on the battlefield. That's why he's chosen him, probably. But Arjun knew that wherever Sri Krishna was, he didn't need to fight, he didn't need to do nothing, but victory would be wherever Sri Krishna is. So obviously Arjun was not ignorant at all. He only pretended to be ignorant on our behalf, so that this unique, this unparalleled teachings of the Bhagavad Gita about how he gave instructions to Arjun, he gave the knowledge to Arjun about how we can live in the battlefield of this world and attain eternal liberation from suffering and freedom from the bondage of karma. So we want to know what Arjun did, because he's our guideline. We have to follow what he did, what he heard. So let us find out. Now for most people, I'm sure some of you also, are under the presumption that Gita is all about karma, right? Because Arjun refused to take part in the war, and Sri Krishna urged him to perform his duty, to do his karma. And Arjun fought the war, we know that. But there is more depth to karma than we know. There are hundreds of commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita available, right? Now, some of them stress obviously upon karma. Some people stress upon Sankhya Yoga. Some people stress upon Jnana. Nahi jnanena sadrisham. Sri Krishna is saying that. He discussed everything. And some people talk about bhakti, etc. Now, for an average person living in the world, it's very confusing. What should we follow? So, what do? Hum khichdi pakate hain. Kuch idhar, kuch udhar. And for us today, we take guidance from Google. That's what's happening in the world. So, there is no clarity about the karma that Arjun performed for his stress, his grief, his illusion to be dispelled. And that's the case with all of us. We don't know what to do. So what step did Arjun take? Let's follow him and then we will learn. When his mind was in a state of confusion, of stress, almost at a point of breakdown, shoka samvigna manasa, he sat down in the chariot, put down his Gandhi bow and said, I don't want to take part in this war. I don't know what is right, what is wrong for me to do. So the next step he took was, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yachreyasya nischitam bruhi tanme Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. 2nd chapter, 7th verse. He said to Sri Krishna, see, it's an important point. When we want guidance, when we want to sort out this mind and know what is the right thing to do and dispel ignorance, be eternally free from suffering, the first step Arjun took was he addressed Sri Krishna as his Guru. Shishyasteham, I am your surrendered disciple. please guide me what I should be doing. Dispel this delusion of mine. This is the most important step on the spiritual path. We think that Bhagavad Gita is a small book. I've read it. Many people have read it many times, and quite a few of you must be having the book at home as well with translations, etc. And you go through it. Things you understand here and there, but at the same time, the clarity is not there. I can guarantee you that. So, when it comes to understanding the science of spiritual knowledge, this timeless wisdom that is available to us, we definitely need the confused material mind needs guidance from a perfect master. It's not just necessary, it is indispensable. We cannot do without it. The Bhagavad Gita is a simplified version of the Upanishads, but it contains very profound truths that we cannot understand just by reading. Impossible. Forget this spiritual knowledge that we are talking about. We can just forget about Vedanta Upanishads, but even Bhagavad Gita. That's why that's how he begins. Material knowledge. Didn't we need teachers? Even to read and learn the mere alphabets, A, B, C, D maybe, aapko teachers chahiye na? When we need, for this limited material knowledge, which just helps us to earn a living for survival, that's what it is, isn't it? The education that we receive, it does not bring into your mind the real peace and joy and happiness or direction, no. It helps you to make money and look after your physical body. Even this we need teachers, right? Then how can we do without a master, a guru in the spiritual realm? It's not possible, and that's why the first step that Arjuna took to teach us was that we need a master. And when he accepted Sri Krishna, although Sri Krishna is his charioteer, Sri Krishna is his brother-in-law, and Sri Krishna is God. Arjuna knows that, but when he knew that when it comes to wanting guidance, then it has to be a guru-disciple relationship. And here begins the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. We know that it began with Sri Krishna urging Arjuna to take part in the war, that if he does not perform his duty, that is a sin, right? But we are not aware that there is not just one karma talked about in the Bhagavad Gita. Karma mein अनेक भेद गोविंद राधे कर्म विकर्म अकर्म बता दे. एक कर्म नहीं लिखा है, बहुत सारे कर्म लिखे हैं. There are many different details of karma which we are not aware about. We just know karma means duty, action, and I'm doing it. I'm looking after my family, I go to work, etc. This is what karma is for us. No. There is a deeper understanding to it. The Gita also talks about karma sannyas. Some other time we can discuss this, but yes, we want to come to the point of what Sri Krishna, all those 700 verses are there, but we are concerned because Arjuna is concerned that he wants to be eternally free from that stress, from that confusion that is stressing him out. He doesn't have the answer. The anxiety is there. So he said, Sri Krishna, come, tell me the main point. That's what we want today. We can't go into the details. So listen carefully what Sri Krishna instructed Arjuna to do. Arjuna, you want to be liberated from this misery, from this suffering? Then listen what you have to do. This instruction is half a verse in the 8th chapter. This is verse number 7, and Sri Krishna says to Arjun, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. At all times and at all places, Arjun, remember me and do your duty. At this point, Arjun's duty was the war. We have different duties to perform, right? According to age, according to the country we are, etc., etc. So this duty can be different, but the mainstream of instruction is at all times and at all places, remember me. This is what we call Karma Yoga. Karma is the duty that we have to perform in the world, and yoga actually means union of the mind. So in this very verse, Sri Krishna says to Arjun, Mai arpita mano buddhir. With which part of our body do we perform that remembrance? Not with the hands, not with the feet, not with the eyes, with the mind. Give me your mind and intellect. So now let's understand this in a more simplified way, starting from the point where Sri Krishna clarified to Arjun what birth, death, and what the soul is. You know, the Bhagavad Gita starts with this. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya. 2nd chapter, 20th verse, 23rd, 24th verse. He is telling Arjun about the qualities of the soul. The soul is the real I, and it is beyond birth and death, Arjun. You cannot kill anybody. What we call death is the separation of the soul from the body. The moment the soul leaves, we say, मर गया. मरा नहीं वो, खाली ये शरीर छोड़ दिया उसने. This body, even now it's actually dead matter. What do you hear? I'm speaking to you, you're listening to me. All these movements that are happening are all due to that spark of life which we call the soul, which is present within. The moment this leaves, the person may be very healthy, very young, but zero. So the soul is that entity, firstly, that, as Sri Krishna says, is beyond birth and death. It is eternal. Number 2, one thing we all know from our experience, that the soul is actually consciousness. It's life. Wherever the soul is, that body is alive. And wherever it goes next, that particular body will become alive. So, आत्मा का जो गुण है वो है chaitanyata, consciousness. The third thing that Sri Krishna tells Arjun, mamaivansho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatana. Arjun, all the souls are parts of me. सब मेरे अंश हैं. अंशो नाना व्यपदायिशात. We have the same knowledge echoed in the Brahma Sutra, in the Vedas, Chin Matram Shri Hareransham, Ishvaransha Jiva, even the Ramayana. तो हम सब श्री कृष्ण के अंश हैं. That is our actual identity. That is the I. But unfortunately, due to ignorance, our total identification is with this physical body, our name, our profession, our caste, our country, our religion, all this identification. It covers with layers and layers the real identity, I. मैं कौन? So, In the very first chapter, second chapter, when Sri Krishna teaches Arjun, he starts with the basic foundation. This is an important foundation. We are two things. One is his physical body, and one is that which keeps his body alive, which we refer to as the soul or the Atma, right? Now, we are two things, body, soul. So therefore, our duty, our dharma is also two. One is the physical duty of this body, which we perform in the world, which according to scriptures, it's referred to as Varnashram Dharma. Varna or ashram. We won't go into the details. But physically what we are doing in the world, these duties change. The duty of a woman today is no longer staying at home, cooking, looking after the child. She's out working, right? So therefore, that duty has changed. So physical duties, they are temporary and they are changeable because the body is temporary and the body is also going to change, right? And the duty of the soul, it is eternal and it is not subject to any change. So the duty, आत्मा का धर्म हम सबका एक ही है. There is no difference. You are different from mine. You are different from mine. This is ignorance. The entity soul has got the same dharma. And what is that dharma? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara. That is the duty of the soul. At all times and all places, remember me. This is the dharma of the soul, Sri Krishna is saying. And Yuddhacha, which Sri Krishna says, according to the situation, take part in the war, that is the physical dharma. You get it? Very clear. शरीर का धर्म क्या है? जो हम लोग कर रहे हैं. अर्जुन को युद्ध करना था, तो वो उनके शरीर का वो धर्म है. और आत्मा का धर्म, वो भगवान का स्मरण करना, उनकी भक्ति करना, उनसे प्रेम करना. This is the dharma of the Atma, right? So, in simple terms, what did Sri Krishna say to Arjun? कृष्ण ने कहा पार्थ गोविंद राधे, मन मुझ में तन युद्ध में लगा दे. Beautiful verses composed by my spiritual master. He's put all the Sanskrit knowledge of the scriptures, Upanishad, Vedanta, etc. in simplified Hindi couplets, which he calls Radha Govind Geet. Let me quote another one. तन से जगत कर्म गोविंद राधे, मन से भजन कर्म योग बता दे. Karma yoga of the Gita is attaching the mind. This is what Sri Krishna said. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhya jimam namaskuru. Important verse of the Gita, 65th. So the mind attached to God is yoga and duty, the physical duty that we perform in the world, that is our physical dharma. So we have two. Now in today's world, the dharma of the Atma is completely neglected. People are not even aware that it is extremely important, necessary, because it is only in human life. Remember this. Only in human life. You see, there is suffering, there is birth and death. Even in animal, birds, all the rest of the life also they go to suffering. But there is only one gateway out of this cycle of birth and death, out of this bondage of karma, and that one gateway is this human life. Unfortunately, our lives are so busy. They revolve around multifarious physical activities and attachments. And the result of that is stress, fear, untold miseries. And what is Sri Krishna asking us to do? He's saying, you do whatever you want in the world, whatever your duty is, just do that. I want your mind. Mayeva mana adatsva, may buddhim niveshaya. 12th chapter, 8th verse. Mind, right? You can be sitting over here and I'm talking to you, right? And your mind is wandered off home. Okay, now I hope they've locked the door properly. Where are my children right now? Are they playing? It's raining, they shouldn't be playing cricket today. Mind wandered, right? Your mind is not here. So the main point is the mind. And we can do that. We can do what we are doing, and the mind can be, with practice, attached to Sri Krishna. The main, absolute main spiritual practice is about the mind. Remember that. Why? Do you know why? Because the mind is the cause of bondage. And it is through this mind that we will be liberated. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. Shatchayani Upanishad, mantra number 1. Brahma Bindu Upanishad, mantra number 2. The same mantra is also in the Narad Puran. Multifarious Shastras quote this important point. Remember one thing, your own mind is the cause of your bondage, of your suffering. Aapka man hi hai karan. So, when this mind is involved on the spiritual platform, in spiritual practice, that's going to one day lead to eternal liberation from all suffering and cycle of birth and death. Because remember one thing, first thing I told you, mind is the cause of bondage, and it is through the mind that will be liberated. Secondly, the mind is the doer of every action. As I just told you, you're sitting over here, your mind wandered. So if your mind is not focusing on what I'm saying, the words are going through the ears, but your mind is elsewhere, right? Karma ka karta man hai, manasaiva kritam ya ramam na shariram kritam Yog Vashishta. So the whole problem is this mind. That's why we have a whole book of scripture. Yog Darshan, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, controlling the mind. So many different methods have been suggested, and at the end of Yog Darshan, Patanjali says the only method by which you can win over this mind is Ishvara Pranidhanatva. Yahi to Sri Krishna ne kaha. Mamekam sharanam braja, surrender it to God. You are free. That's the only way, no other way. So it is the mind, remember this important point. Hands to work, mind to God. Again, I have put so simply for you. Hands to work means we are temporarily here in this world. Everything we are connected to is temporary. So we have to, with the right wisdom and understanding, try to perform our physical works with detachment and attaching the mind in the spiritual realm. Detachment. Now when we hear detachment, we are very scared. It means we have to give up our houses, we have to give up our children, we have to give up our cars, and you don't give up anything. You will still have everything the way you have it. The only thing we give up is suffering. That's what you give up. When you are detached, you give up suffering and nothing else. The mind attached to the world brings suffering, and the mind attached to God liberates you and gives you divine bliss. It's all about the attachment of the mind. When the mind is attached to the world, there's always anxiety, there's always fear, there's always stress. Because these attachments, they go up and down, then there is a fear of loss, etc., etc. That will always follow. So if we are able to, देखो जिसको कहते हैं व्यवहार, व्यवहार कहते हैं ना, बिहेवियर, तो हमारे महाराज जी कहते हैं संसार में व्यवहार करो, प्यार भगवान में करो, बस यही करना है. Like Swami Vivekananda said, bhakti is love for the highest, and the lowest will fall away by itself. But unfortunately, the karma yoga of the Gita is performed the other way around. उल्टा करते हैं लोग. मैंने बताया ना, मन मुझ में तन युद्ध में लगा दे. I want your mind. But when we do anything in the world, what we call, we are worshipping God. It may be माला कर सकते हैं, सुंदरकांड का पाठ कर सकते हैं, गीता का पाठ कर रहे हैं. We are fasting. We are going for the 4 pilgrimages, etc. The main point to remember is the mind, and Maharaj Ji has made a very beautiful verse about teaching us that. Man hari mein, tan jagat mein, कर्म योग यही जान, राधे राधे. और तन हरि में, मन जगत में, यह महान अज्ञान, राधे राधे. Your mind is in the world, attached to the world. You are even asking Sri Krishna, do this for me, do that for me, give me this, give me that. You are complaining to him. At the same time, you are looking, who has come over here? What is that person wearing? Oh, the child has come. Mind is here. And we are also doing Aarti and reciting the verses. So what did Krishna do? What did he write in his diary? The person was not with me at all. Sansar mein tha man. He is only concerned with your mind, with your mind. If we have a big problem, right? When we sit and meditate or do sadhana, then what happens? The mind runs to the world, right? This is a problem with everybody. So when we sit for spiritual practice and the mind goes to the world, then with understanding and practice, it can happen. We are in the world, but the mind is thinking of God. That's how people lived in this world. It will happen. Why shouldn't it happen? When the mind can get attached to things in the world. How much people are attached to the tea, a smoker, a chain smoker, greatest attachment, cigarette. Everybody is miserable at home. The person who is an alcoholic, what is he attached to? To the alcohol. Must go to the pub. When these things, they are bringing harm to the body, even on that cigarette packet, isn't it written? They have raised the prices of these things so that people don't indulge in it. And yet, the person who's a chain smoker will continue in spite of the health hazard, right? So when the mind can get attached to these things that are harmful, that give you only temporary pleasure, why can it not be attached to that Supreme Being who is the ultimate personification of beauty, of love, of grace? Sri Krishna kaun hai? If we take the mind there, it will gradually go there. It won't go. Well, I'm sure there are some devotees over here whose mind is already there. But I'm just saying it's a practice with understanding, with understanding. So the Bhagavad Gita, the core teachings of Sri Krishna was mind to God and hands to work. And with the understanding why the mind, because the mind is giving me suffering by taking me to the world. This very mind attached there is going to liberate me. And secondly, the mind is the doer of every action. So if I'm not using the mind in my worship or whatever I'm doing, little I'm doing, then I'm actually not doing it. I'm just physically over there. So this important point we need to bear in mind. It has been stressed upon. You know, the Bhagavad Gita contains these words repeatedly. Yo mam smarati nityashah. Chintayanto mam. Chintayanto is mind, isn't it? Smarati is mind. Bhajatam priti purvakam. With love, be devoted to me. It's all about the mind, and this has been repeated at hundreds and hundreds of times. So the main point is the mind being attached, and that's how it is going to liberate us. And this comes through practice, through understanding. People have followed these simple teachings. This is the core teaching of Jagat Guru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. He has put it in such a simple way. We are two, so we have two dharmas. One dharma is to perform, because material dharma is temporary, so with a detached spirit and mind attached to God. So Ramakrishna Paraman said, let the boat rest on the water. Let not the water into the boat, lest it be sunk. So there is no harm living in the world. We are here to live here. But if you let that world get into your mind, उसने ऐसा किया, उसने वैसा किया, ये मेरा है, वो तेरा है, that's the world coming into your mind. These attachments. We came to this world alone, and we will go alone, and the soul is a part of Sri Krishna. We belong there, and that's why all of us have learned one verse, Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva. This is a fact. This is a fact. And it is forgetfulness of this eternal relationship which is the cause of whatever stress, whatever depression, whatever misery, whatever suffering we are going through, is this forgetfulness. Bhayam dithiya viniveshatasya dhishadapetasya viparyasyo smriti. 11.237 Bhagavad Purana. So, we listen to this, I've explained, and it makes sense to you, but it requires practice, 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 practice. On behalf of us, everything was said by Arjun. You keep talking about mind, mind, mind. Krishna, don't you know how fickle this mind is? In 1 second, we can be in America, we can be in Australia, wherever we have relationships, whatever it is. So the mind is very fickle. It moves faster than the wind. It's so restless. Chanchalami mana Krishna pramati valavadridam. 6th chapter, 34th verse. See, all the questions were put on our behalf, and Sri Krishna smiled. Arjun, you're very right. Asanchaya mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam. This mind is indeed difficult to control. But Arjun, it's not impossible. He's saying that. It can be done, it has been done. All these are our brothers, those great Andal, all these sisters, brothers, Tulsidas Ji, Tukaram, nothing. They are from our fold. So they did it. If we want to be free of the suffering, we have to put it into practice with understanding. If we don't, then punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, it will go on. So Sri Krishna said, what do you need to do, Arjun? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. You do two things. Detach the mind from the world with the understanding that the world is here to fulfill the needs of your body. Food, clothes and shelter, you need that. But you are trying to attach, what should I wear that I look the smartest? The designer clothes. And what should I eat? And sometimes what you like to eat is bad for your body. That's the worst problem. You love chocolates, you have cakes. Yeah, you love to eat them, but you know what? And fast food, that's a trend with youngsters today. That's going to harm your body, right? So we are looking to attain happiness from all this indulging in the world. So food, clothes and shelter we need, and that's why the world is there for you. but we have become attached to it and we want more and more. I want a swimming pool in my house, my car is terrible, I want a Rolls Royce, then I want a private plane, and all these things happen. What is this? It's stressing your mind. So, Abhyas Vairagya, what will it do to me? I never had a car, now I have one. What difference has it made? Yes, it's easier to move. But if I have a Mercedes, what's the big difference? The ego will increase, the pride will increase, I'll be more attached to it. Then with which mind am I going to worship and think of Him? So we have only one mind, you see. The mind attached to the world, as I said, it leads to bondage. And it's already there. So with understanding, that's what Sri Krishna said. With understanding or practice attaching. Why should I attach my mind to Sri Krishna? Because Sri Krishna I'm a part of Him. He is my father, He is my mother, He is my all in all. And not only that, He is the fountainhead of bliss. And I'm seeking bliss. He is love personified. That's what I'm seeking. And that's why, with this understanding, so practice. Everything is possible with practice. Let me end with a simple example. You have some of you must have gone to India, villages. Even today, sometimes you'll find in certain parts there are no taps. So the women go to the local well to fill water, right? They have pots. One pot, second pot, and some of them can even balance a third pot on their head. They are walking, they are talking, moving towards home. They are remembering where they have to go. Two of them are walking along, laughing, talking. That is balanced. The pot is balanced with practice, right? So in the same way, this practice, once we start putting it into our lives, you will find what a big transformation it is going to make to you. So everything comes through practice. So hands to work, mind to God. This is the core message of Sri Krishna to Arjuna, which he put into practice. And we too can implement it gradually, remembering. You see, you cannot force yourself. It has to come through understanding. Understanding is important. Then it will be stable. It will not be temporary. Somebody insulted you. Oh, Didi was saying right. I will go to Krishna. And after that you go back. No. Understanding is important. And with these words, I now round up this talk. It has not been easy. I put it very simply to you. So contemplate on this. And if you have any questions, then after the Aarti, we can go through that. And meanwhile, as I said, I'm sharing with you this beautiful, thought-provoking, simplified version, understanding of the Gita based upon day-to-day examples which have been given by the supreme authority in the world today. You can watch him on YouTube as well. You will be tremendously benefited. He is Jagat Guru Tam. He's also been given the degree of Bhakti Yoga Rasavatar. So, Bhakti Yoga Rasavatar, Jagat Guru Tam, Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu ki, Jagat Guru Shri Krishna Paramatma ki Jai, Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai.